found something really interesting today that I wanted to share in celebration of Library Week. And I will link these articles in the chat right now. But basically, libraries, public libraries, free libraries, whatever, do a lot more than you think to help stop and prevent crime in your community. So just another thing on the list, long list of why we need libraries and why they're awesome. So yeah, I just thought I would share that first and foremost. And second of all, we're going to be making a word collage. And I'm cutting up a bunch of words right now. Like Z and I were discussing at the top of this, you can use whatever piece of written media you want. You can use whatever language you want. It doesn't matter. I just have like computer printed paper of words that I typed up.
Can I interject, for those of us who are at home and who have blank pieces of paper, you could even take a different colored pens and write your own words, right? We could just be creative. So you don't have to have any templates. If you don't have a magazine to cut up, if you don't have a book that you want to, cut up, or a newspaper or a bill or anything, you can just be creative and use what you got.
Yeah. Even I'm a avid tea drinker, and so I just have this like empty box of tea, and there's like, look at all those words in there that you could use. And this is it's cardboard, but it's pretty thin. I would say to keep it like this and thinner in terms of paper weight, because it will get a little difficult after that. But definitely anything that has writing on it, if you just write down a bunch of words on a notebook page, you can use that too. It doesn't matter. And obviously, step one is to cut out all the words prior to anything else. So I'm like going through my list of words and cutting them one by one, like that, getting rid of any unnecessary like blank space in the in each strip of paper that I have, I guess, because it's not really much of a collage if we, like, this strip only has one word on it, slumber. The light is too bright. Slumber. Let me see. Slumber, like that. So I don't need the rest of this paper. It's too much. Right, so I'm just going to cut that out. And that's basically step one. We're just gonna, this is unavoidable. It takes time, takes some dexterity, takes some patience. I'm not really one for tedium, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I have some phrases in there, like write this down, which is pretty cool. The sample I made, I used my school's magazine. I go to the Fashion Institute of Technology. I am a senior, and I am supposed to graduate soon. Like this year, not this month, but this year. And so I basically just cut up that whole thing. But I only had one copy, so of course, like, I had to print out something else, right? And so yeah, you can like leave, like if you have something that's already written out, I implore you to, like, if there's a phrase that you like, to cut it intact with itself, with each other, however you want to do it, because then maybe you can add words on top of that phrase and like give it a new meaning or something when you glue it down. So like that's pretty cool and interesting as well. And this is fun too visually if you have like different fonts and like weights, like some words are bold, some are not, some are light. Like that's always fun too. And so I have a variety of different font styles and weights and sizes, different sizes as well. Also, I got a new microphone. I don't know if it sounds any different. I haven't I haven't recorded it, but I have been speaking into it this whole week. So that's exciting. It's like a fancy XLR microphone. So like, see here, I have the phrase like water conservation, because we're not just making any kind of collage, we're making a word collage into planet Earth, which is the planet that we live on currently, as far as we know, right? For the foreseeable future. And April is also the month of Earth Day, which was this past Saturday. I like to say every day is Earth Day because that's the planet we live on. What? Come on. But Earth Day in particular is about highlighting ways to make the Earth sustainable, continue to be sustainable for human life specifically, because we can't exist without Earth. This is our home, and we only got one. So to keep learning and growing and being and doing all the things that make life wonderful, we need to take care of our planet. If you remember, last class that we did was also an Earth Day piece, but that was a little bit, it was different, you know, it was more like purely visual, no, purely symbolic, no written word. So this is just kind of like a different interpretation of that, which is fun because it's showing that you can approach the same message in different ways. I got a few words left here. And then we can get started on the thing. But, you know, if you like, you can take as much time as you need and cut out as much words as you want, theoretically. And just maybe, I don't know how quickly this recording would be uploaded, but definitely like jot down notes on like the instructions that I give, because we're going to be going through this as quickly as possible as soon as I cut out sky and mountain apart from each other. Ready? Boom. So I got all my words on the side. I don't need my scissors anymore. I cut out all my words. I have my piece of watercolor paper because we're gonna be using watercolor again. I really love watercolor. I think it is a great way to quickly apply color to paper without having to constantly go back and forth with colored pencil or crayon or marker or whatever. The only limitation is like the size of your brush and how much water you use. So I like the freedom that it allows in that sense. Right, so I'm gonna take my pencil first. Remember, very lightly, when we do drawings on watercolor paper, we want to apply very light pressure to the pencil. And last time, I'm just gonna draw a circle. It's not perfect, and I went around a couple times. Oh well, you know. I want to make sure you guys can like see that. Maybe not, but you'll be able to see it soon. And the other thing I want to do like right now is sort of sketch in some stars and planets. So like, I hope everyone knows like the quick way to draw a star. You go up, out, and I don't even know how to verbally explain that. But that's, yeah. I don't know. Someone explained that to me in the second grade, and I haven't been able to verbally, you just do that. I don't know. I don't know. Let's draw stars like wherever. Stars are in the sky, you know? Maybe like we'll put the moon right there. And then like maybe we'll put like another planet there. And like maybe we'll do like Saturn. So Saturn is a fun planet to draw. Because it has rings, very visible. So you draw a circle, and then for the inner ring, you go out. I'm gonna zoom in so you guys get a really good look at what it is that I'm doing exactly. My lighting is strange. Like, it's cloudy, so I can't really get so much natural light in. So everything looks kind of washed out, but whatever. We're gonna keep going. So I have my circle, and like from the middle, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna do like a little bend. I'm gonna go across. I'm gonna go do a little bend and go back in. Like that. And you could leave it like that, honestly, but I like to do like a second thing. And this time it's like it goes out further. I went out too far here. Right. So there's my little Saturn. And the rest of the planets are all little circles on, as far as we're concerned, on this piece of paper. So, you know, you can draw more or like draw more stars. It's up to you. We're gonna zoom back out. Boom. Whatever. Here we go. Another star. Whatever. Let's have fun. So this is like really simple, really easy to draw. And we're done already. We're done with the drawing part. We could put the pencil away like forever now. It's gone. Over. No more scissors, no more pencil. Now we take glue. We have to glue the words we cut out onto the planet Earth, which is this big circle right here. So you can go, and you probably should go like word by word, like apply the glue to the back of the word, and then like methodically go in and like add each word and make sentences or not. It's up to you if you want to make sentences or not. But we only have 40 minutes left, and that would take up the rest of the time. So I am going to just apply the glue directly to the watercolor paper and go in with my words on top of that and apply more glue as needed. I'm just gonna like get all that going. Right. I'm gonna start with fruits. Fruits. Got the sky, the ocean, got forest in there. Cloud. Putting cloud and sky at like theoretically the top, even though they would be more out instead of like up. So maybe I'll like move cloud or not. Maybe she's stuck. She's stuck there. Got lakes, got plains, ponds. This word environmental. We got rain. I actually want this to be, I want to squeeze this in between environmental and fruit. So I'm going to cut it like really, really tiny. You can do this with all big words, but I like to have a variety of different sizes because then like if you have any nooks and crannies like this, you can just sort of, right? Just like that. And be sure to have like a trash receptacle nearby if you're still like, if you're going to be doing continuous cutting throughout this, so you don't have to constantly get up and throw out your paper scraps. Or maybe you can compost them. I'm not sure. So I'm going to put when next to time. I think those words are related. When time. I got in. Gonna put that there. We're gonna put mountain over here. We got zoom. I have some like artistic words as well, like poetry, speak. We got heroine, a hero. Oh, this is a symphony with an exclamation point, because I feel like that's something to be excited about. Vegetables. Oh, I have ocean twice. That's actually really funny. Storm is huge, like a big storm. Wow. We got celebrating. I have oasis. Oases. That part of the paper is completely dry of glue, so I'm going to put some more down. Got positivity. We got water conservation. So some parts of this are dry, so I'm going to put some more glue down like that. And I'm already almost have filled my thing. So that's actually unexpected on my part. When I did this the first time, it took me like twice as long, I think. Because I was really thinking about, and I implore you to take much longer with this, for real. I think it's more fun that way, to really think about like your word composition, and like what words go next to each other and what way. And even like if you want to type out or write out the words yourself, like what do the words look like? Like what does the font look like? Like I think all of that could really, like taking all of that into consideration would make a really, really strong piece. In this class, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes to show you what could be possible, but you can certainly push beyond what I'm showing you. I'm going to put hero right next to heroine. We got love. What is love to you is different from what is love to someone else. And that's what makes it so cool. We got music. Music next to symphony. I got this word magical. Kind of covering up planes a little bit, but so maybe we'll do it like that. Let's do like save. Save has so much extra white space that I don't need. So I'm just gonna like trim that. We'll put it next to time. Could also put it next to environmental or environment. We got heat. In the literal metaphorical sense. Put that there. That learning is such a big word though. I'm looking for like long smaller words now. Seeing if I can like squeeze some extras in here. Squeeze that next to history. We got singing, so maybe we could put that up next to cloud. Like up here. Gotta write this down. We're gonna put that over there. We got storytellers. I'm gonna see if I can squeeze storytellers in between storm and mountain. Gonna see. Sure. that's fine. And I think I'm gonna trim out wonder a little bit more. And I think I'm also gonna use stories, other world, and artist in this, and then like we're on to the next step. I'm ready. So could I fit other world? Maybe like here, like right there. And then we got stories. And this will be our last word, stories. Right in here. I mean, as you can see, I still have more words cut out on my right over here. But I'm pretty satisfied with the words that I have glued down. And a lot of the words that I have left are like a little big to continue fitting in, I guess, besides like poet and dancing. But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing. So that's essentially the collage part of the activity done. And so we've like glued them all in a big circle. Of course, it's cut out with straight edges, so it's all jagged and stuff. But I think that's kind of cool. If you don't, that's okay. And you can cut them out. Like you can cut the words on the edge to match the curve of your circle. Absolutely, you can do that. I won't be doing that though. And I didn't do that for my sample either, because I didn't think it was necessary. I think it's like, I think this has an interesting quality to it. So we got our watercolors again, my favorite. Bringing these open. These palettes, like last time, are the same ones I used. These are the same ones I used last time. This is the same one that I used last time, this Crayola one in particular. And I got them from the Crosswood Library for demonstration purposes, to show that you can use these supplies right at the library. So while the glue dries, while the words all like dry onto the paper, what I want to do is take like a really big brush. This is the biggest brush I have right now. And just like with clear water, like go over all of the negative space. So avoiding any planets you may have drawn and stars and stuff like that, like avoiding all that, and just filling in the negative space. So yeah. Maybe carefully, maybe not so carefully. That's to your discretion. My advice is to work quickly with this though, because water dries up. And once it's dry, you can't really use it. So I guess that's my only advice. So if you're going to be precise, it has to be quick. It's possible, but it's a little more difficult. So I've made it all around the world with my water. And now I'm going to go in with blue. And now that I've touched the paper that's already wet, the color kind of like spreads on its own a little bit. So this is what is called wet on wet application in watercolor technique. The pigment has a much easier time spreading across the paper when it is already wet. So that's what we're doing. And I like this for a reason that I am about to show you once we finish with the blue. And maybe you can guess what reason that is. Maybe not, it's okay. This is not a game show. There's no points for guessing right here. So any satisfaction you get from guessing correctly is intrinsic, which is still valid. I'm kind of just like taking the blue on my brush and going like tapping anywhere that's like that does not have blue on it, basically. To sort of help get the color along. And I'm sure you've noticed that I've like overlapped some existing celestial bodies that I've drawn. That's okay. It's no big deal, really. But like, cool, we got the blue down. We got our words in the center. And so now I'm gonna go in with purple to add some like dimension to this, to space, basically. This is space. This is space. Outer space. And so one thing you might notice is that your paper will curl up. My paper is curled up right now. I don't know if you can tell. It's like, because it's dry in the middle, it's flat in the middle and it's curled up at each edge. And that's okay. When it dries out, it'll like flatten out. It's also because like there's a lot of water on this paper right now. Like sort of almost globs of it in some places, especially at the ends here where it curves down. And so the reason I like wet on wet is because I think it's really conducive to like mixing different colors, which is one of my favorite things about watercolor, is that even though you may have 8 colors in a palette, depending on what colors you have, and depending on like how well the pigment of your paint is, you kind of have every color ever. It's just about your ability to blend them together. So, and lastly, we're gonna go in with black, straight black, because space is dark. It's outer space. There's no greater sun lighting up the entirety of space. So it's gonna be pretty dark. But it's not completely dark. because we already went in with like blue and purple. And you can even like throw in some reds and pinks and yellows or whatever, make some nebulas. Those get pretty colorful because of the different like, is it gas compositions? Are they composed of gas? I'm not even sure. Space dust stuff. I know they're pretty and they come in like all sorts of different colors. You could even like have drawn like galaxies in the background, like Andromeda. Not that we'd be able to see it, but so what? You can see it in your painting. This is abstract, which means it can be whatever you want, which I think is always more fun. If I have, whenever I get to the point where like me placing the color down, like I just put that black down and it stayed where it is pretty much. That's when I know to add in more water. Like that. If you feel like you've added too much water, you can always take a paper towel and dab it off. Very gently. But once it's dry, you can't remove the paint off the paper. But if you're like, oh my God, I'm making a huge mess, you know, there's ways to clean it up. You don't need to get scared or anything. And so I might actually like do some of that right now. I've definitely spilled some paint on my table. And I'm just taking this and I like to fold it in like a little triangle sort of thing and just like let it soak up. Like this is a big divot right here. And of course, like against the edges of my paper is like super, there's like a lot of water buildups. You see all that like got soaked back up into the thing, into the towel. This will lift pigment as well because the pigment is activated by the water. So I'm actually going to cover that up because I felt like it. So I think this is like more manageable in terms of like drying time. And so while the outside is drying, we're going to do the inside. We're not going to attempt to do an accurate representation of like real land masses and bodies of water on planet Earth because our planet is made of words. But we're just going to add color to give the impression that, to make it very clear that like, yes, this is planet Earth. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go in with some green and I'm going to do wet on dry. So wet on dry is when your paper is dry, but your brush is wet. So I'm going in with the green and I'm just going to like cover up. And so this is where like the kind of paper that you use matters a little bit more. So I'm using like regular copy printer paper and you can see like it's not very conducive to taking water. So that means that you can only do like one layer. Of each color, because if you do more, the paper won't hold. It'll like rip and stuff. So just be careful about that. I know I started this off by saying that I wasn't going to do like an accurate representation of land masses, but then like I did this and I was like, this kind of looks like Africa, so I just ended up doing Eurasia anyway. Kind of like subliminally, right? And I would try not to touch the edge of like space. I did it right here, and you can see like the color kind of bleeding over. That's not a big deal, but you know, if you can, you should avoid it, right? Like that, I recommend. So there's some parts of the world that are like more dry and arid and sandy and temperate or whatever. So we're gonna go in with some yellow. And you can do this wherever you want. It doesn't matter. Just do it like on top of the green, you know? And this is going to be pretty dry. Like I'm using very minimal water. I'm using water pretty much only to pick up the pigment, and that's it. If I do any more, the paper's going to give out. So, and finally, like lastly, I'm going to use some orange for like the same purpose, pretty much, of like going in very lightly and sparsely, right? To give some variety to like all the different colors of land. I'm going to take blue and green and mix it together to make the color of the ocean. So I'll show you what that looks like right here. I just went like that and like just mix it together with water. If you find that you have too much water in your brush, you can always like with your paper towel, just go like that. And so this is decidedly like a different color blue than the blue that we used for space. So we don't get confused about who is who. Right? And maybe like leave some white up here at the top for the polar caps and at the bottom too. And yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, kind of similar to last class a little bit. I didn't plan it out that way, to be honest with you, but not intentionally anyway. I think my brain just does things on its own without much I don't want to say consideration, but like it follows the same patterns whether I mean to or not. Right? And so we have painted over planet Earth. Look at that. Oh my gosh. She's beautiful. And so now we got all these extra celestial bodies that need some love too. I still got some more water that's building up over here that I want gone because I don't have the time. I'm going to go in with a super thin brush, very thin guy, and I'm going to go in with yellow, and that's how we're going to do the stars. So I'm going to start like, I guess up here. Do not rest your hand on this piece of paper. You will lift all the paint that's still wet along with your arm when you pick it back up. So don't do that. You kind of want to, you might want to like rotate the page, or in my case, I'm like rotating my arm. I'm changing the position of my arm. So that you can still see the piece. Right? If you hear piano in the background, that is my younger sister playing upstairs, because both my sisters play piano every day. And it's pretty cool. So sorry if you hear that and it's distracting. It's almost like it's more so like I'm highlighting the stars than anything, because the yellow pigment is too light to really cover any pencil lines that I have. If you're an astronomer, or if you're really into astronomy and you want to get really literal and like do different kinds of stars, you can. That would be pretty cool. I'm not equipped with the knowledge to know what that would look like, so I'm not going to do it. This, I declare, is Mars. Shout outs to Mars, who is at Crestwood with this class right now, I'm pretty sure. They are interning at Crestwood, and they're pretty cool. So we're just gonna make this like a little orange guy. Just like that. It's like a little orange fellow. And add some red. And I'm gonna go in with red and purple. I'm gonna mix red and purple together and use that to make Saturn. I don't actually know what color Saturn is. I think it's like brown or something. Like a light brown, maybe. I'm not sure. I would need to look up a picture. Yeah, so I'm gonna use like that kind of color right there. This one. And slide her over. And I'm going to, again, just like really we're doing wet on dry, partially for more control over where the paint goes. And so that, and because like the rings overlap, I don't want anything to like bleed over. So I'm going to take like super light brown, and by light brown I just mean like more water than pigment, and use that for the rings like that. Boom. How awesome is that? She's so cute over there. And of course we got the moon up here. I'm going in with brown at first because why not? And maybe the moon you can add more detail, brown and then like black, but with water to make it gray. Like instead of adding white to make things more or less opaque with watercolor, you add water to make things more or less opaque. And then maybe like, you know, some craters and things. Right? Some more spots and stuff. The moon got a lot of craters. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think we're finished.